Hello chess friends and welcome to another game analysis. This time I will show the game 1 from the match between Grischuk and Nepomniachtchi played on the FIDE Grand Prix in Moscow. They're both fighting for a title of this tournament and this is the game 1. They played 2 games in this match and after that they played tie break, but right now we will cover the first game. Alexander opened this with e4. After that, Jan responds with the e5. Alexander continues with knight f3, and we have knight to f6. So this is the pattern of defense, and the main line says that Alexander need to go with the knight on e5, or he need to go with the d4. These two moves are main line, but he decided to play d3 instead of that. And after that, we have knight to c6, we have g3, and then d5. Black decided to take an initiative and start with d5. He wants to open the center here and crash the pawn on e4. After that, e capture on e5, on d5. So queen takes d5, bishop to g2, and bishop g4. Right now there is a big pressure on the knight, which is standing on f3, because the bishop is attacking that knight, and he also pinned the queen. From the other side, queen is attacking on f3, and she pins the bishop. So after that, Alexander goes with h3, attack the bishop, trying to kick out him, but bishop takes on f3, and after that, queen capture on f3. It looks that Alexander is looking for endgame, so he offered queens for trade very early, and queen capture on f3. We have bishop capture on f3, and after that knight to d4. This knight is attacking the bishop on the square f3 and also threat to capture on a c2, which will result with a check of the king and attacking the rook on the a1 square. But from the other side, white tried to capture on the b7, but that will not result with a good thing, because if he take it, he's attacking the rook, but the rook goes to b8, and after that this bishop is still attacked, and the knight is attacking on the square c2. So it's two threats that white cannot control. So after knight to d4, we have bishop to d1, which is the only move, saving the bishop and also protecting the pawn on the square c2. We have a long castle, and after that developing move, knight goes to d2, and this knight goes back to c6. After that, a3 was played, and then black pushed the pawn on the g6, which is the idea of the bishop to g7, just develop the bishop on that square. But white continued with the knight e4, offering knights for trade. Black accept that and take on e4. After that, d capture, and right now we can recognize that the pawn structure is symmetric. So white is playing with the two bishops, which can be advantage, and because of that, Jan created a plan to trade one of the bishops, and he goes with the h5. After that, we have c3, and then bishop goes to h6, attacks the bishop on c1, so offer the trade. And that this bishop from the c1 square cannot be saved. He need to trade it. If he tries something like f4, for example, let's see that line, we can try f4, and that will crash the pawn structure, and rook goes to d3, attacking the pawn on g3, and if king goes here on f2, defending g3, then black can try to play h4, which will once again attack the pawn on the g3 and completely crash the structure. So after bishop goes to h6, white capture on h6, and then rook capture on h6. So we have bishop to b3, attacking the pawn on f7 square, so he pushed that on f6. After that, we have h4, and then centralizing the king with the move king to d7. Basically, his idea is to prepare for the endgame, so he wants to put the king on the best square, and he recognized that the best square right now is the square e7, and yeah, he can do that just in the two moves. So king to d7 was played, and after that you have king to e2 instead of the castle. He could try castle, but king can be much more useful in the center. So king to e7, and after that rook from h to d1, offer rooks for trade, and rook goes back to h8. After that, bishop goes to d5, threat to capture on a c6, and if he takes on c6, that will create a double pawns on a c file, which is not a good thing for a black. So he goes rook to d6, defending the pawn, defending the knight here and protecting the knight. So we have b4, and after that knight goes back to d8. So white try with f4, and then c6 with the idea to kick out the bishop from the square d5, and bishop goes back to b3. After that, rook capture on d1, rook capture on d1, and knight e6. So knight is attacking the pawn on f4 right now, and white need to make a decision, take on e5 or defend the pawn. So he played king e3, defending pawn on f4, and after that we have a pawn sacrifice, which is the a5. Black decided to sacrifice the pawn on a5 because if he take, then black can move the rook on a8 and attack 2 pawns. So he will take this one on a5, and after that make a big pressure on the pawn on a3. So after a5 we have bishop capture on e6. After that, king capture on e6 and b capture a5. So rook goes to a8. And then rook to b1, threat to capture on b7. After that, rook capture on a5, rook capture on b7, and rook capture on a3. So right now the material is equal. So black threat to capture the pawn on c3, which is undefended. So king to d3 was played, and after that e capture on f4, g capture f4. And then we have rook to a1. Idea of this move is to give some checks from behind, or also he can go on the f1, targeting pawn on f4, or do the same thing if he moves the rook on h1 and targeting pawn on h4. So rook to c7 was played, and also attacking the pawn on c6. After that, king goes to d6, and we have rook to f7. After that, king goes to e6, rook goes back to e7, and they repeat the moves, and after 3 times they repeat this position, they agree for a draw because no one cannot improve the initiative and cannot take any material. So they agree for a draw by repeating the moves on this way: king to d6 and the rook to f7. So king goes to e6, and then once again rook to c7. After 3 times they repeat and agree for a draw. That was the game 1, played between Alexander Grischuk and Jan Nepomniachtchi on the FIDE Grand Prix in Moscow 2019. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next game analysis. Bye bye.